Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. You join me today on a very cold morning, hence the very bright luminous jacket. And today we're going to replace an outside floodlight. I'll just turn you around and I'll show you what we're doing. So as you can see here, we've got an old halogen style security floodlight that we're going to replace. As you can see, it's completely broken. It's gone brittle over time. That's completely snapped off there, the sensor. And we're going to replace it with a Collingwood, my go-to brand, LED security floodlight. So we've isolated the power from the mains. We've just taken the fuse out and tested that we've got no power with my tester. I've cut the cable off, so we're just dangling that out the way safely. So it's just a matter of unscrewing this bracket from the wall, getting that removed, and I'll show you what we're going to put on the wall in a second. Just before I do that guys, just a bit of a disclaimer regarding electricity. Obviously if you've never worked with electricity before, it can be very dangerous. So if you need the right testing equipment to make sure it's dead. If you're not competent, get somebody that is competent, an electrician or somebody that's worked with electrics. They know what they're doing. Cheers. So this is the new Collingwood light that we're going to fit, LED floodlight. Very nice with a black covered sensor there. Looks really smart. And these come with the wires pre-installed, not like the old halogen ones that you have to wire directly into the light, like up there. So because the wire's attached to these lights, we have to use a little connection box. I'll just find that in my bag. Just bear with me a second guys. So I always use a Whisker 206. It's a nice little box that is. So we can connect the mains power into that box. It's screwed to the wall, and then the cable from the floodlight will go through another little hole at the bottom there, and then we put some Wago connectors inside to connect the wires up. So that's the old light taken down. Now we're going to take the new light and hold the bracket up to the wall with a pencil. We mark through the holes onto the wall, and we can drill the holes out and put some plugs in and get this bracket screwed back to the wall. And the beauty with these Collingwood brackets is that you don't have to undo the light from the side. You don't have to take the light off itself off the bracket. We can, if I can show you, if you bend the bracket right back, you see you've got that angle there like that. You can actually get your screwdriver in to tighten the screws up without taking the light off the bracket. So that's a really good feature of the Collingwood brackets, because there's a slight angle on the back, as you can see there. That's how it allows us to do the screws up without taking the light off. Perfect. So now I'm going to work out where I'm going to put this little Wago 206 box, and obviously the length of the cable determines that, so I'm going to probably try and put it with a little bit of cable sticking out. We only need a little bit of cable going into the box because we're going to connect some Wago connectors on the end of the cable. So if we try and aim for this line of mortar where the old screw holes used to be, that'll just make it easier to connect to the wall. We're going to drill those two little holes out there either side so we can get the screws in, and then we're going to put the cable through Probably one of the holes here, left or right, doesn't really matter. But with them being, I mean, you can put grommets in these, like weatherproof grommets, but because these are rubber, I just tend to drill the little centre of the hole out there and push the cable through. It's good enough, gives a nice watertight seal. So if we fitted somewhere around there, I'll go ahead and do that now. Get this box attached to the wall first. So that's the connection box on. Screw back to the wall nice and tight. You're looking for something like that. Next we're going to get the bracket attached to the wall with the light. So now guys, we're in this position where we've put the light and the bracket itself screwed to the wall just above the little connection box there. So these come with quite a long cable. We don't need all that cable, so this is where you need to work out the length that you need. Always have a bit of a what they call a drip loop, so when water runs down it'll fall off. So like not as much as that, but I can't really show you without being in the way. So for example, something like that. So it's like looped at the bottom, so any water that runs down the cable drips straight off. So that's called a drip loop. So you have to work out how much cable you need to go into the little box there at the back where my thumb is. So we need to trim a bit of this cable off. We'll just cut it, and then we have to take a bit of the sheath off there so we can get some Wago connectors onto the wires. And we're going to strip this cable back as well so we can get some Wagos onto the mains coming in. So now we've cut the wires to length, and we have stripped the cables back there. Just bearing in mind, you might come across some old wiring colours, as in this property. We have got red for live, black for neutral, and I've just put a sheath over that for earth, or CPC. On the new light cables, we have the new colouring of brown for live, blue for neutral, and the green and yellow for earth, or CPC. So obviously brown will go with red, the blue will go with the black neutral, and earth will go with the same colours there, yellow and green. So these are the Wago connectors that we use to connect the wires together. These are the Wago 221s, and these are for 3 wires. You can see 3 little gates there, but we only need to use 2. I haven't got any 2-way ones, so we'll use 3s today. They will fit in that box perfectly well. So I'll go and attach them now, and I'll show you what I've done. So guys, yeah, we've connected all the wires up now. It's a bit tricky to see, but red with brown, the 2 yellow and green earths, CPCs, and black and blue for the 2 neutral cables. So we've given them a little bit of what we call a tug test. Just pull on each wire to make sure everything's securely connected. And the beauty with these Wago connectors is if I just bend it back there, you can actually see that the wires have gone right to the end. So yeah, really good, these Wago connectors, highly recommend them. So once we've connected it up like that guys, the next thing is to push them all neatly back into the little connection box. Squeeze them in there, make sure the cables do not come out. We've already given them a tug test, so everything should be nicely secure. I'll go ahead and just make this a bit neater with both hands, and then we can put the cover back on, and then we can get the lights tested and set up. Guys, so that's the installation complete now. We've got the wires all in there and the covers back on. It's looking nice and neat. I always like to put the little connection boxes behind the light just to hide these a little bit, make it nice and neat. All that's left to do now, guys, is get the power reinstated, and we've got to set it up with the controls underneath. Little controls there, illustrated on the little leaflet that comes with the light. So A is sensitivity, B is lux, so that means you set it for daytime or nighttime setting, or to come on at dusk. You can set it halfway, and then the time on C, you can alter the time that you want the light to come on for once it's been activated. So I'm aiming for about 2 minutes today on this light. The customers required it to come on for about 2 minutes, or asked for it to come on for 2 minutes, so I'll get it set up. Sorry guys if I'm trying to get my words out properly, because it's very, very cold outside and my mouth is absolutely frozen. So just bear with me. So yeah, I'll get it set up. Sensitivity, I'm going to leave on full. The time, like I say, I'm going to aim for 2 minutes, and the lux, once I've set it up in daytime mode, I'm going to turn it all the way back around to the moon symbol. You can see on the lux there's a sun and a moon, and I'll turn it all the way to the moon symbol, which means the light will only be activated during the night time when it's dark. So what I do now, guys, is I hide around the corner and set the light off, as you can see there, and then I'll just count. Well, I get my timer going on my watch and see how long it stays on for, and then I can tweak it up or down to get it around the 2 minute mark that the customer requires. And then I'll go and turn the setting down to nighttime setting, so it only comes on at night, and that's when it's all set up. I can walk away then. And that, guys, that's it. That's the installation complete. Nice and neat. So yeah, looking good. And this will give a nice bright light and light up the whole garden. This is a 30-watt Collingwood security floodlight. You can get 10, 20, 30, a 50 watt and 100 watt, and I think they go a bit higher, but I'm not sure. You'd have to look that up. But thanks very much for watching the video today, guys. Just be careful when working with electrics, like I say. If you're not competent, just don't bother. Just get an electrician in, or a competent person. If you like today's video, guys, please would you consider hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing, just to help the channel out, please. I'd appreciate that a lot. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one.